Hello and welcome to Movies, Films, and Flicks. I am Mark Hoffmeyer, and joining me is a man who just found a toaster. It's Jonny Numb.
Hey man, it would cost you 20 at the store. I'll give it to you for $1. This toaster has your name all over it, man. Come on.
Oh, oh
Buy
man.
buy me the toast, buy the toaster off me. You're not gonna find a better toaster anywhere else.
You remind me of that Mr. Show sketch where that guy's trying to sell the two guys, David and Bob, a bunch of stuff. Hey man, you want some tires? You want some mashed potatoes? Like that's Jonny Numb selling me stuff, and I'm like, yeah.
Did you ever watch the show Parker Lewis Can't Lose?
No, I never watched it.
Okay, it was sort of a ripoff of Ferris Bueller's Day Off. But there was this one episode where it's these high school kids, and this one kid is into video games, and the episode is revolving around his addiction to video games. And there's a scene I remember where he goes to meet this guy in a bathroom in the school, and he's wearing a trench coat, and he opens up his trench coat, and there are like video games like stuck to like cartridges stuck to the inside of his shirt. So I like sort of like want some video games, little kid, I don't know.
Listen, if someone had The Lion King on Sega Genesis, I would buy it right now because I never finished that final level and it's been killing me.
You know what? I would like Shadowrun for the Super Nintendo. That was like my favorite RPG for the Super Nintendo. And I think I did something stupid, like I sold it to a video game store like probably 20 years ago.
For
So
$3.
it wasn't a GameStop. I don't know where it went, but I was like, that was the dumbest thing because it's probably like 100 or so bucks to get a copy now. So
GameStop bought so many of my things for cheap when I moved. Like I moved to Korea to sell most of my stuff. So I was like,
oh yeah.
yeah, like well, I guess like here, yeah, take this awesome VHS tape for a nickel. Hooligans. But yeah.
Yeah. We actually do a show about getting nickel and dimed by these like chain stores. It's like, oh yeah, the game cost me $50. They're gonna give me $50 for the game. No,
$3.
no. Yeah. And that's
Wait.
that's my final offer. Yeah.
Take it or leave it, or buy a toaster for
Yeah.
$1.
Or a nice bird cage, maybe.
Like, if I went to a GameStop and they're like, I got a toaster for $1, I might just buy it.
If there was just a toaster sitting there.
Yeah, like a new one, and they're like, hey man, works.
You
$1.
know, what'd be cool is if you like push down on the thing and two Nintendo games popped up when the toaster went off.
Oh, that'd be amazing.
Yeah.
Like, did I just cook Super Mario Brothers? Did I not look before I pressed down?
It's like, ooh, they're hot. They're hot. Better get them in the system quick. Yeah.
Did I smell burning plastic? Mark, what happened to your Donkey Kong toaster? Toaster? Yeah, I bought it at GameStop. What?
Sometimes you might find a pair of boots at GameStop. It's like $20 off the shelf, but well, they'll sell them to you for 40, but it's $20 off the shelf.
I mean, boots for $40. I'll take it.
Yeah, that's a good, yeah.
Some like nice boots.
What size are they, Mark? They're your size.
Sign this 60-page waiver. I end up working there for the next it's just hell, like eternity working at GameStop.
Hey, I found a nice pair of bowling shoes for
but
you.
You want some works?
Bowling shoes?
Yeah. I'm just staring at all the games I love.
I just think of that random moment too, like where he picks up a lamp. He picks up a lamp from the house.
Yeah, we might need
it. And he just like takes the lamp, and you never see the lamp again. It's like, what the heck is going?
Badlands is a funny movie, Jonny Numb. So this is our feel good series. Jonny Numb have covered some incredible films. It's one of my highlights of my MFF podcasting career because of the awesome movies we covered. This movie is a feel good movie, but it's funny. I sat there laughing when he's like, listen to your parents and teachers. They got a line on most things. It's like, you're so full of shit. Like he thinks what he's saying is so like, and then like
profound.
The hat.
Yeah.
And then like the rocks. Like I love the rock scene. And just like, and she just ignores him towards the end. She's like, I just got so tired of his crap.
Yeah.
Like, I even stopped paying attention to him. Instead, I sat in the car and read a map and spelled entire sentences with my tongue on the roof of my mouth where nobody could read them. Like Sissy Spacek and Martin Sheen are just incredible in this movie.
Yeah.
I love Terrence Malick, man. And I love the behind the scenes stories of this. I love the movie. This is a movie that's only made by a first time filmmaker who graduated from Harvard, got a Rhodes Scholarship to Cambridge, then went and taught at MIT, wrote for the New York Times and the New Yorker, got a fellowship to direct, got an MFA to direct. He's like, I'm going to make Badlands. And then he shoots it in like sequential order, but not like, Johnny, you know what like shooting in order is, right? Like,
Yeah.
So like if you're listening, a lot of movies,
they're shot out of order.
Yeah, exactly. Because I mean, listen, if you have 5 sets, you want to shoot at your first set, then your second set, and your third set, just because it's easier and it's cheaper and you can schedule it. But you know what I was reading about Malick?
Yeah.
Not only did he shoot the script in order, but someone would say a line, then everyone would have to turn around and go to the other side and get that line if Sissy Spacek was saying it. So it's like if Kit or Holly, like, so they didn't just shoot out Kit's dialogue and then go shoot out Holly's. It was back and forth, back and forth, back and forth.
Oh my
And
gosh.
there's 3 DPs on this movie. The crew left. And it but you know what? This is a funny, like Bonnie and Clyde came out 5 years prior. Breathless came out 13 years before this. So I mean, it definitely had its influences, but this is a funny, sly, beautiful, brutal movie that only gets made by someone. I guess there's a moment, Johnny, when he goes, yeah, like, we did the scene. He's like, and then the DP goes, hey, you want to go in and get some coverage? And he's like, no, I want to do it over the shoulder. But when you get coverage, that is over the shoulder. It's like he just didn't know that. And he thought a honey wagon was for dinner, but it's for people who need to go to the bathroom. It's just like, you call the honey wagon. Like I got to go.
Use
like,
the honey wagon.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
And
I actually didn't know that. Yeah.
And like, like, you go to the honey wagon, and like I spent a lot of time in the honey wagon, Johnny. But there's
sitting around waiting on those sets, man.
Yeah, but I was thinking about this too, and you're much more wise than me, and everyone's waiting for you to talk. But I've been thinking about this lately, Jonny Numb, in that on a lot of film sets, I'm teaching a producing class right now, and I'm teaching my students how to break down scripts into strip boards and days and scheduling. And what a lot of people don't realize about film is that, yes, it does come out to an art. There are moving pictures, but to get there, you need strip boards, you need schedules, you need blocking, you need camera and electric, you need generators. I mean, you need everything, parking, bathrooms, like medics, like you need all of this. And so it becomes a very rigid lifestyle. You show up, how many extras we got? Okay, we have 200. They're getting here 200 before call. That means we need to do the math. We'll get 20 hairstylists. We'll get 20 makeup artists. We'll go to room. They'll go and they'll get into costume first. They'll go to wardrobe. Then we'll put them through hair and makeup, and then we'll just get them through. And like, it becomes about a schedule. And so, a lot of these guys too, a lot of these grips, a lot of the electrics, a lot of Teamsters, they come from electrical jobs, construction jobs, they're electricians, they're tradesmen. And so they are making this art happen, and they love the art, but they also love the pay, and they know, like, this is how you do it. You shoot coverage, you shoot a wide, and you master, and you go in and you get coverage. So all these guys who are working with Terrence Malick, who is like, no, this is how we do it. And he's a big Texan who fought the producer on the set. And they like couldn't be talked into anything. Like, he was like, no, we are doing this. And so a lot of people quit. But I think that's really indicative of the film industry as a whole, because like, no, it's done like this. No, it is done like this.
Yeah.
And you get an outsider like good old Terrence Malick, who's like, no, we're gonna do this, and we're gonna look for the sun, and we're gonna stop if I find something beautiful. And we're gonna hunt this movie down. I think that really throws a lot of people off, because like, no, you get the coverage and then you shoot, and like, people can be very inflexible. So it's just, when I heard that his crew turned over, I'm like, yeah, of course they did. Because I've been on sets where the people lost control, and you can just see everyone arguing. That's not how you do it. That's like, they become very blustery, and it's kind of interesting that with the amount of turnover, and there was the fire, I wasn't surprised by it, because this is a very untraditionally filmed film that was made by people who are used to making traditional films, crew wise. So it's just the interesting dynamic, and what I kind of learned. And the same thing happened on Days of Heaven. I think if you could survive the entire filming of this, it would be pretty awesome, wouldn't it? Like, hey, I survived all of Days of Heaven and Badlands. Like, that'd be a great shirt to have.
Yeah, absolutely.
But I just think that's how you get this art, though. Coppola made a Hearts of what? Apocalypse Now. I mean, the absurdity of the making of that, and The Revenant. And it's just, sometimes I feel like great art is really hard to make. And that's what this was. So that's why I love learning about it.
Yeah, and Mark, I was thinking immediately when you were talking about this of I don't know if you ever watched the movie Lost Soul, the doomed journey of the island of Dr. Moreau. It's
Oh
about
yes. Oh
It's about Richard Stanley attempting to
yeah.
make the movie, and basically for a variety of factors, that movie got out of control. You know, internal and external reasons. And the whole story was, he got booted off the movie, and then John Frankenheimer came in and finished it. That documentary is fascinating to me because it kind of shows, like, you kind of, on one hand, you're thinking about what could have been, with his adaptation of The Island of Dr. Moreau, and then on the other hand, they do go into like what we wound up with as a result of it, which wasn't good. It wasn't a good movie,
A
also.
Frankenstein, pardon the pun, film.
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah.
So it's like that's an instance where things went out of control and it resulted kind of in a like a salvage situation. Whereas I feel like Badlands with Malik, it was more like, going back to your comment about him being an outsider. It's kind of like he had this intuition. I think
Hmm.
that's kind of what I was gathering from like the featurette on the Criterion disc. The whole sequence you were talking about, how he would be driving with Martin Sheen and he would see something where he could set up a camera and get a great shot, like the thing where Martin Sheen is looking at the sunset and then the moon, and he looks like a scarecrow because he has the gun sort of braced over his shoulders. Like that thing was apparently just like shot off the cuff and everything, because he's like, oh, let, let let's get this shot. This looks cool. Let's do this.
Absolutely. And listen, Terrence Malick had the luxury of having Martin Sheen and Sissy Spacek on his side. They
Amazing. Yeah.
believed in him. They
Mm-hmm.
gave him everything.
Mm-hmm.
When Terrence Malick beat up one of the producers on the set because the producer insulted his wife, Martin Sheen pretended to be offended, but was like, "Yeah, get him," and just they got his back. But if you look at Richard Stanley, he had Brando and Val Kilmer. I love Val Kilmer, but watching that documentary Val, I learned a lot about him. He needs input. He
Mm-hmm.
needs to feel needed.
Yeah.
Richard Stanley wasn't and the up the didn't he wasn't at the point of his career
Where he
or
could
had
do
the
that.
kind of
Yeah.
vision of a Terrence Malick. So he had Brando and he had Kilmer,
Mm-hmm.
whereas Malick had, his wife was on set as a producer. She's also a lawyer. She got his back. He had Martin Sheen and Sissy
Nice.
Spacek. And this is a movie that if it would have had more temperamental stars, it probably would have shut down. I mean, the fire, there were lawsuits, and if he
Mm-hmm.
hadn't had a really tight bubble around him and three DPs and Tak Fujimoto, who did Silence of the Lambs and
Yep.
Devil, two movies I
Yep.
love.
Mm-hmm.
But if he would have been in Stanley's position, he would have had to dress up as a creature and sneak onto set to see what was
Right.
going on.
Exactly. Yeah.
And it's just a case of artists backing an artist,
Mm-hmm.
and that's how we get Badlands. I mean, this is a gorgeous movie and it's a very funny movie.
Mm-hmm.
And I think Martin Sheen is perfect in the role because he looks like James Dean. He's got the James Dean hair, but
Mm-hmm.
he's a dipshit.
Oh yeah,
So
yeah. He's a total. I knew guys like that in high school, basically, who would feed you a bunch of lines, and if you were gullible enough, you'd be like, "Oh yeah, really? Oh yeah, that's a I see that polar bear walking down the street," kind of thing. Oh man, oh, you saw a polar bear walking down the street in the Midwest or something like that? It's like, yeah.
just and also, but the problem is he can murder people
Uh-huh.
without feeling anything. Like Malik told Sheen that to think of his gun as a magic wand, and that's how he
Wow.
solved problems. Excuse me, problem solved. I dismiss you. All the best, nothing personal. He didn't,
Wow.
he didn't, and then he also wrote that like Malik said this as a subject of incredible interest of himself and to future generations. Uh, Kit sees himself as a subject
Hmm.
of incredible interest to himself and to future generations. The movies have kept up a myth that suffering makes you deep. It's not that way in real life, though not always. Suffering can make you shallow and just the opposite of vulnerable,
Hmm.
dense. And it kind of had this effect on Kit. And I love that. Like, I think that that's pretty great. And, Malik based this on like he loved the Hardy Boys, Swiss Family Robinson, Tom Sawyer, Huck
Hmm.
Finn, all involving an innocent in a drama over his head. Like he's like, I wanted to be set up like a fairy tale. And
Right.
so I just love that he understood that Martin Sheen's character was just was just an idiot. He was a murderer. And like he didn't care when he killed people. Like he had no moral conscience to
Hmm.
him. And it's interesting, the same thing that draws you to him is the same thing that made Holly just be like, this guy's an idiot. Like she's like, I got with the wrong. He killed my dad. Like this guy is a moron. And she's like, I just wanted to push him in the water and see him drown. And she's stuck with this like murderer psychopath. But Kit Martin Sheen does that perfectly because there's this like allure to him.
Hmm.
And what I think is always interesting is when everyone has their problems, right? I think I can't disregard anybody's problems, but when you look at some of the all-time sufferers, yeah, I'm
Hmm.
just got a few names, whatever, like Kurt Cobain, or James Dean died early. He lived hard, and these
Yeah.
these actors that are idealized, they had issues and they lived and they died young. But
Hmm.
then there are people who just want to idealize them. And I
Yeah.
think that because of that, they become selfish and they become like, look at me. But you're not a maniac. Like you're not driving yourself towards death like Amy Winehouse. You're not a tragic figure. You're just being selfish. And I think Kit was that in a lot of ways.
I think there's this element of vanity that goes, definitely a huge element of vanity that goes along with Kit and Sheen's depiction of him, because something I can't get out of my head, and this could be a potential sideshow topic, the allure of the rugged loner in
Yes.
a white t-shirt,
Brando,
in a yeah, Streetcar, and Martin Sheen and Badlands. I
driver from Drive.
Exactly. I cannot for the life of me rock a white t-shirt, because white to me, that brings out everything that is flawed about my torso, basically. Whereas I wear black to conceal everything that's wrong. Like only a few people can really rock that look. And I mean, I think Martin Sheen does a great job. It's like when he takes his coat, his jean jacket off when he first meets Sissy Spacek, he's like, ah, damn, it's a James Dean looking, mofo kind of, geez, that probably work on me too if I was out
Yeah, he
twirling a
looks great.
baton.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but I also think it's interesting because he's so full of himself, like you said. When the cops are chasing him down at the very end of the movie, I'm like, oh, I just wanted to strangle him, because he's looking in the rearview mirror to make sure his hair
Yeah.
and his face look good while he's speeding down this dirt road with the cops in hot pursuit. He just does not care. And it's just like, oh, you smug so and so. Just like nothing means anything to you. You just want that, you want that celebrity, and you're gonna get it,
I mean,
for the wrong reasons. But yeah.
watch him when he's throwing out his comb, when he's throwing out his lighter, when he puts the rocks down
Yeah.
to to build that pile. I'm almost convinced he let that really rich man live so he would tell a story about him. Like, if you kill all your
Mm,
victims,
mm,
they can't tell stories.
yeah.
And one thing, another sidetrack here about Kit is,
Yeah.
the real life killers were a lot worse.
Hmm.
They what Kit Carruthers was the person who did the actual killing, I believe. Was that his name in real?
Starkweather,
Oh, Charles Starkweather. Sorry.
Charles Starkweather. Yeah.
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 Yeah. So his name, Charles Starkweather, but Charles Starkweather like sexually assaulted his villains and he murdered more. And the spree was a lot less dreamy and they were
Mm,
younger.
hmm.
So, how do you feel about Malick sort of sanitizing what this man did?
I mean, I think, and I wasn't aware actually of the details. I mean, I knew it was based off the Starkweather case, but I wasn't aware too keenly of the details of it. I don't feel like it's necessarily sanitized. I think in a weird way, even though Kid is like a textbook sociopath, I think it's like Malik still manages to humanize him. He really humanizes um
She's the best.
Holly.
Yeah.
Yeah, he humanizes her, and she becomes kind of, in some ways I found her just as frustrating as Kit, because she's like, but again, it's like she's 15 years
Yeah.
old.
These are
It
kids.
Yeah, and it's like, so of course, when you hear her internal monologue, she's like flipping back and forth between emotions and how she feels about this guy. up until the point near the end where it's like she's just like, I'm not going with you. And she just gives that little half shrug to him when he says, Why aren't you why not? You know? And he totally flips out. You know, it's the first time in the movie you really see him get pissed off about something is when she denies him at the end there. So I kind of like the nuance. I kind of like the nuance of that. I didn't feel like it was necessarily sanitized. I think this was a PG movie back in
Mhm.
73, but you know, a PG movie in 73 is not the same as a PG movie in 2024.
No, no.
That's for sure. It's basically you got to be Garfield or John Krasinski with Purple Monsters movie to be a PG movie these days. Whereas in Badlands, people are getting shot and there's blood squibs and the whole works going on and it's gritty and ugly, you know.
Yeah, and the death is so cold, when the dad dies, when he
Yeah,
shoots his
yeah,
buddy Kato, like, like, I love too, like, he's like, yeah,
yeah.
there's gold in the field. And
Hmm.
Kit and Holly are like, yeah, they're kids, and they run out there, go look for gold, and then
Yeah,
they just murder him. But I
yeah.
think what makes Kit in this movie the scariest villain is he will kill you.
Hmm.
He'll kill you, and he won't feel anything about it. That's what
Yeah.
makes him scary. So I
Hmm.
think sometimes people see an anti-hero or a charming villain, but I think in this movie, Malik definitely let people know that Kit is, I guess, is he like something in him just does not feel, and so he's a scary character, man, and I dig it, and I think Martin Sheen is perfect in that role because
Hmm.
he's playing make believe with this 15-year-old in the woods, probably building the greatest treehouse ever.
It's pretty awesome. I mean,
Yeah.
that it's a feat of it's a feat of engineering, that
Yeah.
treehouse for
But then,
sure.
he kills those three cops. He's like, well, they came hunting for me. But then he kills his friend, and then he kills those two people that are in the bunker. He didn't have to do that. Like, he's
Yeah.
just a maniac. Like, I do love it. Like, Holly just pretty quickly learns that he's full of shit, but she also
Yeah.
knows he's dangerous. And she's
Hmm.
also a little disaffected too. Like, there's a line where she goes, yeah, I didn't have much of a personality, but Kit didn't seem to mind because I think he just liked talking to her. Like, he just,
Yeah.
and he called her Red, and Holly hated being called Red. He's just a bad dude.
Well, and there's that interesting thing. I kind of like how that pops up every now and again. Like when he's ticked off about something, he'll like call her red, when he's trying to catch a fish and he's failing and she's just sitting there like watching him, he's like, "Oh yeah, good work if you can get it red," or something like that, just in a very, very smug kind of way. It's like, well, you're just sitting on your butt and you're not helping with anything. So, what? Yeah.
He's a 15-year-old. What's she gonna do? She's just, it's
Yeah,
crazy.
yeah, no, it's really weird that I know listening to the interview with Martin Sheen, he was like 25 at the time. So he was like originally Kit was written as being younger, I think, like I don't know, 18 or something like that, I forget. Um But Malick was like, well, because he liked Martin Sheen so much as a candidate for the character, he was like, I'm gonna bump the age bracket up, which is, it's a little more absurd then too, because you have this 25-year-old and this 15-year-old, which, definitely you make a movie like that today, and you're going to be spending most of the junket defending your,
Yep. No
what
wonder
is the
Warren Oates was so pissed off as the father in this movie.
I totally got it. And here comes this smug guy while I'm painting this beautiful tapestry on a billboard, and here comes this smug, full of himself guy. I'm like, I'm not going to give him the time of day. I'm Warren Oates, I'm screen tough guy Warren Oates. I'm not gonna give you what you want to hear. I'm not gonna be a pushover to you, you little James Dean looking wannabe. So
Like, and hey, man, like, I'm 10 years older than her, but it's cool. Like, no, get away from my daughter.
exactly.
Get
And I
out of
think
here.
Yeah, it's like the movie's set in 1959, and even in for 19 by 1959 standards, I don't think that sort of thing would fly.
It's
That
bad.
that age gap. Yeah.
But then he goes and kills her dog. I was like, come on, father. Jeez Louise. But the way that Holly says it, like,
Mm-hmm.
the way that Holly says it, it's just so disaffected. She's such
Yeah. Yeah.
a kind of disaffected teenager, just kind of along for the ride. But I still think that's interesting. Like, I don't, I guess what I, this is, I love the various takes. I love the humor of it. Like I love
Hmm.
that, I love watching Kit find this celebrity. And if you think about it now, like they became famous for becoming murderers. I mean, you look at Bonnie and Clyde, you look at people like that. Like that's how you got famous. A
Hmm.
lot of people like I found a really interesting quote where
Hmm.
they were talking about this movie and let's see, what does it have to say? They pretty much had no chance, those two. And
Yeah.
so I kind of love that their way of getting famous was just to go murder some people. Like they
Yeah.
I don't know. I just that's how they did it. And that's how they thought they could do it. And I just find that to be really interesting that these two kids, the only way that they could probably ever be known in this world was to do what they did. And they did it. And Kit thrived on it. Like he left recordings and he made speeches about listen to your parents. I'm like, shut up, Kit, shut up. But
Well,
he didn't believe that. He just wanted
yeah,
people to hear him say that.
right.
And you know,
Yeah.
it's I feel like Kit is the classic example of someone who's charming at first, but then you get to know him and you're like, oh no, like this person's in my house. Like I mean, I
How do
guess
I?
a lot of people are like that, right? They look normal,
Hmm.
but yeah, then you go, oh no, this is bad news. So I don't know, it just everything about this movie works. And Malick's doggedness to get what he wanted. And
Hmm.
like and I mean, Jack Fisk worked out of a station wagon. He met Sissy Spacek and they got married. And it's
That's an amazing story because they've been married since Badlands, and I mean Jack Fisk, he's a little bit of an oddball. I mean he was like the art director for David Lynch too, and you know how
oh
he worked on Eraserhead. And I was like, yeah, Sissy Spacek has a she must like artists a lot. I was like, just I don't understand the dynamic of that relationship because she seems kind of normal and he seems kind of like very much the sort of spaced out artist type, which I'm not saying is a bad thing. I mean, obviously, he's good at his job. I mean, and stuff like Badlands and Eraserhead and those David Lynch flicks. So yeah.
can we talk about the movie's influence? Because
Yes,
listen,
please. Yeah,
I
yeah.
know that movies came before it. I know that there were crime sagas before it. I know that even before Breathless, there were movies out before Criminals on the Run, and you had the
Hmm.
Roaring Twenties and gangster films and all that. And then you had Bonnie and Clyde. But I think, I love Bonnie and Clyde. I think the 1967 films that were nominated for Best Picture sans Dr. Dolittle are incredible. It's a
Yeah,
turning point in American cinema. And
yeah,
a guy
yeah.
named Mark Harris wrote a beautiful book about them. But you watch that and I love that it's Warren Beatty. They thought he was too attractive for the role. He did it anyway.
Hmm.
Faye Dunaway looks incredible. Gene Hackman. I mean, it is
Yeah.
just a gloriously violent movie, and it struck a chord.
Hmm.
But when you watch something like Badlands is wildly artistic. And someone made a great point about how someone sort of compared it, and I'm not really normally a huge fan of comparing things to other
Sure,
things, because like what if
sure.
someone hasn't watched it? I was
Well,
like, yeah,
yeah.
it's like this meets this. You're like, well, I haven't seen those. But they kind of talked
Yeah.
about it how like I was bowled over straight away. And David Thompson said this, a film critic, and he
Mm,
wrote, I was bowled over straight away. It was the taking of a traditional American genre subject. Two wild kids hit the road. They become outlaws. They do it all for love and one summer of escape, with a way of filming that had a quite deliberate European modern surreal feeling to it. Because it does feel very surreal at moments.
yeah, yeah.
It was almost
Hmm.
if Godard had come to America and made an American film. But he wrote, this film had a very American notion. I think that two totally humdrum kids with hardly an ounce of education between them, if they just take two steps to the left, they're into fame and
Hmm.
legend. And then he wrote, after all, what the blank else are they going to do with their lives? And what I think is interesting about this movie is, Bonnie and Clyde is a brilliant film, but it this one takes its time and it's really art house and it's
Hmm.
very deliberate and it's kind of an oddball little movie. It's like
Yeah.
a fairy tale. But you can feel this movie in a lot of David Green's or early works, True Romance, Devil's Rejects. I talked
Oh,
about a movie the movie we talked about, A Butter Place. That
yeah.
movie, A Better Place.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
And
Yeah.
when you talk about, there's a movie called Bad Country, and it was originally called Whiskey Row, and they had to change the name. He's like, well, I love Badlands, so I'll just call it Bad Country. It stars
Yeah.
Willem Dafoe. Like
Okay.
that,
All right.
what's interesting though is like this movie has really influenced people. And why? So just as far as like American cinema, I mean, when it came out was very great. I mean, the 70s, everyone's like, it was the greatest time ever for cinema. But
Mm-hmm.
why do you think this movie struck a chord? I mean, obviously Breathless struck a chord, obviously Bonnie and Clyde, and many other movies I'm not mentioning. Well, why specifically do you think Badlands works so well for people? And like why is it so revered?
Mark, I think there's sort of a paradox going on with this movie in terms of just in the overarching, and you were talking a little bit about Malick's style, how his style is more, I would call it contemplative in his images, how he frames stuff, his musical choices, that German choral music he uses over the fire, which is fantastically effective. It's like, what is this? And it's setting this really somber, dour mood as these characters sort of are on the run now, and they're going on with like the next stage, maybe the last stage of their lives, as they go on the run. Um, and I think unlike the movies of the 60s and the 50s, where it's like you had, biker gangs, you had juvenile delinquents and stuff like that.
Rebel without a cause.
Well, yeah, exactly. Or it's like you're wearing your leather jackets, you're riding your motorcycles, you're dancing at the hop kind of thing, to the hot jukebox tunes at the time. This wasn't that at all, even though it has like little components of that running through it, I think, sort of in the style of, Kit's style and stuff like that. Um, the period specific details. But at the same time, there is that sense of it's maybe more of a figurative grittiness to the movie, and maybe actual grittiness as he's kicking up the stones at the end and kicking up dust all over the Badlands. Um, it has that grittiness that would really permeate like other 70s cinema. Like people talk about how, oh, the 70s were so like dirty and gritty and everything. And despite the fact that there's a blue sky and white clouds on the horizon at the end of that movie, it's beautiful to look at. There's some fantastic visuals in Badlands. There's still this like undercurrent, or maybe even like an undertaste of, you know, pulp film noir kind of running through it. And this was kind of transmuting it into something else, which wasn't really it has a narrative, but it's not necessarily too concerned about it's more interested in the characters than sort of the Robert McKee, A, B, and C, whatever, however he instructs people to write scripts kind of thing. What we learn in school about, the first 30 minutes, you have to have this inciting
Mm-hmm.
incident, and the 30-minute mark should represent kind of a shift in the narrative. And I don't think, I wasn't clocking Badlands for anything to see if it met formula at all. It's like a 90-minute movie, so it's pretty efficient. But at the same time, I was like, I think it has a weird tone and a weird flow to it. It feels very, despite the subject matter and despite these, disaffected characters, it kind of moves along with this deliberation in a way that kind of makes sense. You don't sit there thinking, what's the point of him talking into the dictaphone, and it looks like he's talking to us, and the view, he's looking at the camera, he's looking at us almost patronizingly as he's letting loose with all of these, you know pseudo intellectualisms, kind of, stay in school, kids, you know listen to the minority vote unless the majority vote wins, and then you should do your best to
Respect it.
respect the majority. I'm like, what the hell? And at the end of, I love the end of that, because he said, I forget what he says. He says something that's improper grammar, and then he says, "Excuse the grammar." Like, he knows what he's saying. He's just, oh, people think I'm stupid, but I'm like, he says like ain't when it should be aren't, or something like that. I forget what it is, but just this weird. There's a lot of stuff in there that's like sort of a mashup of art house and sort of pulp cinema, I think. So it kind of merges those two worlds in an interesting way that you kind of probably didn't really see up to that point. I mean, of course, I haven't seen every movie in existence, so I have no idea. But it seemed like a unique take, with these two characters. And you know, I feel like in the 70s, you know, you could have taken a premise like that and really sensationalized it a lot more than I don't think Malick even really sensationalizes it in a excessive manner. But some filmmakers might have been like, let's lean into the seedy exploitation. It's like, ooh, he's 25, she's 15. Let's get some shower scenes or something like that and
A
make it
taxi
really.
driver or something.
Yeah, exactly. Let's make it really, you know, let's make it really seedy. But he didn't do that. And, you know, she even says at one point, you know, Kit wasn't interested in sex. And I was like, that's a really interesting declaration on her part, you know, that she's so comfortable with this guy and he wants her, you know, he does some flirtatious things with her, but it's like, what is Kit's end game with her kind of? It's like
She
you're, yeah.
she's the first person that just hung out with him and was young enough to be controlled by him. Like
Yeah,
I doubt
yeah.
any 25-year-old women are going to hang out with Kid. So it's beyond maybe a fun night at a bar. And then when he stabs somebody, they're going to go, well, it was good. I'll see you later. So, you know, he finds this young kid and who without much of a personality
Yeah.
who, you know, murders catfish and he uses and she gets sick of him. So
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
yeah, I totally get that. And also you make such a great point too, because oh, I also want to say consider the minority opinion, but try to get along with the majority of opinion once it's accepted.
Yeah.
There and he's just so full of crap. And you know
Yeah.
what I think also works for this movie is obviously I wasn't around when Rebel Without a Cause came out, but that was like a bomb went off for a lot of people
Hmm.
because here was, you know, we had the Hays Code, we had all of this going on, and here was a teenage rebel without a cause who's just pissed off. He had something
Hmm.
wrong with him. Like no one's gonna call it PTSD or
Right.
depression. He was just a rebel without a cause. And
Hmm.
I think kind of a bomb went off with a lot of people going like, oh, this guy's edgy. And then you had Brando, and then
Hmm.
I think when the '60s carry on with maybe like The Graduate, another disaffected
Oh
young
yeah. Yeah.
guy. But what I think this movie works so well is you know, while all that Rebel Without a Cause is going on, Kit's not part of it. Like Kit is
No.
outside of it. Kit is trouble. He is socio. I don't know. I don't think he feels. I think he would kill. I think he is a guy who has always collected trash, quit early. Everyone
Hmm.
throws stuff at him, which I love. Like he dumps keys in there, something gets thrown at him. He leaves.
Yeah.
He leaves the garbage place, something gets thrown at him. Like he's
Yeah.
always getting stuff. Everyone's throwing stuff at him, and he's just the outsider of outsiders, but he's not a taxi driver, which I know Martin Scorsese never wanted him to be idealized, right?
Oh. Oh yeah.
He's
Yeah.
not a Scarface. He's not as insane as Natural Born Killers, which is another kind of take on this as well. He's just he's he he's a murderer and he's cold and he's ice and like he's into this and he likes that he finally found some celebrity, but he's also dangerous. And I
Hmm.
think Sissy Spacek, I mean, she's a kid in this. Her character Holly is a child,
Hmm.
and Holly definitely has something going on, but she just rolls with him and then regrets it.
Yeah.
And it's a really it's not it doesn't go the Devil's Rejects route. It doesn't go this route. It's a very watchable film that I know it ends on a it's not a bitter ending. It's not a semi-sweet ending. It's more of like a bittersweet ending, but it doesn't end horribly. Like you know it's based on a true story. You know what happens
Right.
to him. You know
Hmm.
he adores the attention. She was in jail for a long time. She finally got out. She had a much harder life afterwards than what this movie says.
Mm,
But I
okay.
think when you
Yeah.
watch this, you see how they're outsiders. You see the beautiful vistas. You see that these characters don't have to be like ha 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 ha, ha or you know pent up
2D and fruity,
yeah
Mark.
like or like pent up male rage. You know they
Right.
this is a man who is cold and like we said maybe he just doesn't feel. He's a sociopath. And that's what he does in this movie. It's just a very interesting take on these two. They aren't it's not bombastic. It's
Hmm.
not insane. It's just a very elegant look at a killer. And I think you can see a lot of this in movies. I mean, now listen, Teens Going on the Run was long before this,
Yeah.
but I think
Yeah.
a lot of filmmakers were influenced by this. I mean, you know, a Butter Place, he's like, yeah, I just want to make Badlands. So
Yeah.
there's something about this movie that's funny. It's brutal, but it's not it's not a nihilistic movie either.
Mm-hmm.
And I
Yeah.
think that's what makes it. And I think what if you think about Days of Heaven as well, Richard Gere is a scuzz bucket in that. Megan was watching it and she's like, leave her alone. Like Megan was like, get away. Like get away from them.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like stop. Like Sam Shepard is awesome in this movie. And
Yeah.
just let them be. He's a good dude.
Mm-hmm.
And and but he's still like a good-looking guy. He's a murderer though, and he's an idiot and he'll always be on the run. But just between Bill and Kit, they're like these good looking guys who are just nothing but trouble, will
Mm-hmm.
only ever find trouble. They don't know how to avoid trouble, and they're meant to have the ending that they have. So it's really interesting how he covers this kind of thing in relationships and loss and really
Mm-hmm.
just dudes, good looking dudes who are bad news in this, but he does it in such a different way. He like combines art house with murder and death and longing, and it's quite incredible how he does it.
Yeah. I think with like I was saying to you before we started recording, I was like sitting there watching it again, rewatching the movie last night just to soak it up. And I was like, I found myself sort of, my eyes were like glazing over in a good way because it's like the movie was sucking me in that much. But I was like, there is just this like flat line of Kit kind of. Like the guy you're introduced to at the beginning of the movie encouraging Kato to eat the dog for $1, the dead dog. I'm like, that's the same, you start off with that guy and that's the guy you end with too. Once he's caught and he's basically putting on his one-man show for the
I got
guys who.
things to say.
Yeah, exactly. What was that question again?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. And I'm like, what is going on here? It's like it felt surreal almost that this whole sequence was happening. It was like the lawmen were just patronizing him, or was it just like, because one of the guys who catches him is like, hell, he looks like James Dean, and
Yeah.
you can tell he's kind of smitten with this I guess ideal of this rebel or bad character, even though he's on the side of law enforcement. Kind of, he's like, oh, he's kind of thrilled that he caught this guy, but he's also kind of he's also kind of like, well, how do I get to be like this guy without the rap sheet kind of thing? I don't know. It's this very strange exchange near the end there, and then you have the sheriff who's sitting in the driver's seat like totally stoic and stone faced and everything like that. So yeah, I don't.
Well, I remember I was doing a Devil's Rejects
Hmm.
episode, and a
Yeah.
lot of people like the Devil's Rejects because they are unapologetically themselves.
Hmm.
And William Forsythe somehow becomes the villain, which is insane
Yeah.
in that film. But they are always unapologetically themselves. There is no character development. They are horrible. They're dirty, but they have like a weird family code,
Hmm.
and they're always themselves. I feel like Kit is that. Like Kit is,
He's who he is. Yeah.
yeah. And there's never going to be character development for him.
Yeah.
There's
Yeah.
never. He is never going to develop. At something is not there for Kit, and he is never going to develop. Like
Yeah.
obviously he'll age. I'm not saying he's slow. There's just Kit is Kit,
Hmm.
and he's so unapologetically himself. Though I think when he first meets her,
Yeah.
he's just like, "Hey, I got things to say," and then they walk, and she's like, "Yeah, my dad. You're from the wrong side of the tracks, and you're old. Like, get away from me." He's like, "Well, and then he comes back for her, and
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
he's just guys like, well, I guess I'm a cowboy now, and he walks over dead cows, and she sees him do weird stuff. He's not afraid to show that he's quote unquote weird or off. And I
Hmm.
think there's an allure to that
Yeah.
where when someone's just so unapologetically themselves, I think once you learn he's crazy, you want to get the heck out of there. But on a surface level, I think
Yeah.
people appreciate that.
Hmm.
What's interesting? There's a song I love by the Postal Service. It's called Nothing Better.
Hmm.
And there's a line in it when they're like, like you have a lore I can't deny, but you had your chance, so say goodbye. Like
Hmm.
with Kit, he has a lore like people probably can't deny, but if you try to say goodbye, he's just going to shoot you. So
Right. Right.
that's his problem. And I think his biggest problem is he feels nothing. That's probably
Hmm.
why he's not too interested in sex. That's probably why he's not too interested about other things, or like even an adult relationship that challenges him. He
Hmm.
just is himself. And that character is pretty interesting to see on screen. It's not
Yeah.
like volatile pent up rage. It's not Michael Douglas falling down. It's Kit.
And I mean, I think you bring up a good point, Mark, because I was kind of not really struggling with this, but I was kind of like, for a character who has no development, really, he's just this. You don't know if he's BSing or not. You do know he likes to kill people, and he has no qualms with being on the run from the cops. He treats it like, it's fun, for all intents and purposes to him what he's doing. Um, and that he's seemingly there's this maybe there's even this thrill of being wanted, in quotation marks. It's like, people are finally paying attention to me, like you said, because I'm doing this thing, and it may be the wrong thing, but I'm getting attention. So that's a good thing for me, who's someone who's never had anything, or always been kind of on the bottom rung of the ladder. And I think it's a testament to like Sheen's charisma, because that's what the character is. It's like it's all in that delivery and what he says. It's all that surface that he says. You don't really get a good. I don't think you really get a good viewpoint into his psychology
No.
outside of what Holly's observing, and Holly's just like, I'm just sort of shooting in the dark. You just listen to her voiceover and the contradictions of it kind of in her analysis, and she's like, I mean, I know she's 15, but at the same time, it's like she doesn't know whether she's coming or going with this guy either.
Yeah.
She doesn't really know where she stands with him. But it's like I'll stick with him, for you know up until the point where he's talking about being a Mountie or whatever. I think that was sort of the straw that broke the camel's back. It's like,
He's
nah,
never gonna hold a job. Like he's
no,
gonna any job he gets at, he's getting fired from.
yeah,
And he's gonna, yeah, like he's never gonna hold anything
mm-hmm.
from it. But you know what's interesting? She kind of has the development in
Yeah,
this,
yeah,
not him. But I like that, you know, I like that they don't try to give him a Joker backstory where he just makes stuff up. Like
mm-hmm.
the guy is just a blank slate, but that's what
Yeah,
he is. He
yeah,
probably grew up rough, and he's just something's definitely wrong with him.
mm-hmm.
And uh, yeah, and it ends up how it does. But he's hard to read though, because he'll let people live, or he'll shoot that guy because he tries to call the cops. Like, but then he murders those two innocent people in the bunker.
Yeah,
He's And I think she gets tired of those contradictions. And she
mm-hmm.
probably, when she signed up for this assignment, she's probably like, "Man, this guy looks like James Dean. This is great. Like old dude, cool." Like he says random stuff. She's like, "This is a pretty sight." And he's like, "Yeah, the tree makes it beautiful." Like he kind of goes along with her. He lets her be her. He does
Right.
let Holly be herself. And yeah, I think, but then he starts being very contradictory. And she's like, "Oh, this sucks."
Yeah,
So,
yeah. It's
but
like it's like, what did I sign up for? Kind of.
yeah, and I love her voiceover. And you know what I learned? The one of the people who are working on this, like one of the producers, they're saying like there's so many holes in the storytelling because of the constraints and difficulties of the shooting that it
Hmm.
entailed a tremendous amount of fooling around with the voiceover to tell the story.
Hmm.
And also to conceal the expositional nature of the voiceover by putting in a lot of oblique voiceover that was not at all expositional. It was
Right.
like patching
Right.
the holes in the road.
Mm-hmm.
So they had expositional voiceover, like he built the thing in the woods and we were
Sure.
here at this time. And
Yeah.
but then she's also in her head going like, yeah, I was just writing on the roof of my mouth and this guy's an idiot.
Mm-hmm.
So they had to add in other voiceover to make sure that it wasn't all expositional voiceover. And
Mm-hmm.
so, but once again, Malick surrounded himself with people who hung around and helped him achieve his vision.
Right.
This guy shot
Right.
so much film. It's
Mm-hmm.
ridiculous. But he
Yeah.
still made the movie work and it sold big. I mean, this was a big hit. But I kind of love that. But also too, like the way he uses narration is great. Like Sissy said that. He's like, on
Yeah.
the screen, you'd see the flattest, most uninteresting landscape you've ever seen in your life. And the voiceover would be, Kit told me to enjoy the scenery. I did. Or like,
It's when they're blasting through the plains, and
yeah,
there's like nothing there except crabgrass or something. Yeah.
just enjoy the
Yeah.
scenery. I did. Or
Yeah.
like Kit shot a football. He said it was excess baggage.
And then there's like the element, and I was considering this too, of Holly being potentially an unreliable narrator. It's like she's a bit deadpan kind of in
Yeah,
her.
she is.
So it's kind of like, is she kind of funning with us with, oh, I enjoyed the scenery, ha ha ha, not really, LOL JK kind of thing. But yeah.
Yeah, she's so flat. Then
Yeah.
that's what makes it funny. This is a very funny movie. And I love, like, she's like, when I got done with this, I promised I would never tag around with the Hellbent type ever
Yeah,
again.
right. Yeah. That's a very movie line right there. But
Yeah.
I like it. I like it. It's like, okay, all right. She learned something through this. Yeah, this
That
ordeal.
that's why it works though, because this could be a nasty piece of filmmaking, but instead it's very funny and it's quite droll and it's quite
Yeah,
flat.
yeah.
But that's my humor. Like, I love, like, I love. I mean, Doctor Strangelove has some very flat humor that
Oh
makes me
yeah.
laugh so hard. Hey, Dimitri, can you turn the music down? Oh, thank you. Like, it's like that's one of the funniest moments ever on screen.
Right.
And or like Royal Tenenbaums, like, what was that? Huh? What? Huh? I don't know, man. I'm on mescaline. Did you say mescaline? Like, that's
Uh,
my humor. Like,
of
that's
course, of course, it's Stark. It's a suicide note. Yeah.
that's
Anyway, sorry. Yeah.
when humor is delivered like that,
Hmm. Yeah.
that's when I laugh really. Like, that's what I love. Like, that's what makes me laugh.
Hmm.
And she makes me laugh in this movie. Like, I promise to never tag around with the Hellbent type again. Like, just I stopped paying attention to him, and like, it's just hilarious. He's like,
Yeah. Yeah.
like, didn't he talk about the blue book value in this? He's like, oh, does that help the blue book value? Like, he's just such a,
Yeah. I'm like,
oh yeah, I
what
wonder
the,
what the blue book value is on this. Like, he's,
just like,
and like, just they throw his hat away and he looks all sad about it. And
yeah.
it's a it's just a little funny,
There,
influential film that took forever to make. The crew turned over, the crew quit,
hmm.
but I think Malick hung strong and he had a vision. Like, I found one quote, and one of the producers like, we have a really smart kid out here, let's just hope he comes through for us.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
oh, there, we have a very bright kid out here, I hope the hell he can pull this off. But you know what's interesting, I wasn't
Hmm.
on set
Hmm.
for this, obviously, but Malick doesn't seem like a guy who, like, because Martin Sheen, people said we're trying to take advantage of him. Oh, you can't do that. You can't do
Oh
this.
yeah.
There's not enough light for that. And he's like, well, I want to do it anyway.
Yeah.
But I don't think he was like like, I know he beat up one of the producers, but the producers talked smack about his wife. So, like, you got to throw
Yeah.
down. But he seemed like a guy who just, he wasn't like a Michael Bay on set. He
Hmm.
just saw it and wanted to do it. And
Hmm.
to a lot of people, it didn't make sense, but he still had the gumption to see it through. I
Yeah.
heard about his epic research papers when he was writing, like at Cambridge, and they got so huge, he just didn't even turn them in. So he seems like he's going to pursue this thing to the end. He's going to be dogged about it. And
Hmm.
that's how you get his movies. Listen, you can't get Thin Red Line. You can't get New World. You can't get Tree of Life
Hmm.
without him being an absolute, just being dogged with
Yeah.
what he wants.
Yeah.
But I think he does it in a way that's very quiet and
Yes.
very, no, this is what I want. Like, we are going to do this. Like, and I think that's why he's so revered, is because he's not a Hitchcock who locks people in sound stages high on LSD. He's not
Yeah.
Kubrick who drives women insane on the set of The Shining. I think
Yeah. Yeah.
he's a guy who just wants to see his vision through and will do it no matter
Hmm.
what. But I don't think he's going to scream. I think he's just going to do it. And no, this is what I want. This is what I want. And if you look at a lot of the art, like, when they're talking about the director, when she was talking about making The Love Witch, a lot of the crew were rebelling because they didn't understand the movie.
Hmm.
Like, I think it is tough for people who make these kind of films when you don't
Yeah.
have an ally, and he's just lucky he did. And it
Yeah.
kind of sucks, man, because I've watched all of Malick's films now, and he had such a gigantic run. Like,
Hmm.
I think his run of Badlands, Days of Heaven, Thin Red Line, New World is one of my all-time favorite theater experiences ever.
Hmm.
The Tree of Life
Wow.
is gorgeous. And I think
Hmm.
it's one of the, like, most, I know it won an Oscar and it's Criterion and everyone adored it, but it's like gorgeous movie. And the fact that people are like, there's dinosaurs, it's like, oh man, you've lost the ability to think. It's about a guy like
Yeah.
thinking about his brother's death, and
Hmm.
he's thinking about the world and when it started. And of course, every memory is a wisp because that's your memory from 30 years ago. But
Yeah. Yeah.
like Tree to Life kind of opened up the door. And then I think To the Wonder came out and everyone just kicked it in and started making fun of his spinning and his style of film. And then Knight of Cups came out and now it's just Christian Bale kind of
Yeah.
gigoloing around. It's just him like hooking up with like the world's best actresses for 2 hours. And you're like, what is happening? You're
Yeah.
like, what is this? And then like Song to Song comes out, and that movie I had to watch it for an assignment recently, and I just felt the artifice on it, and it kind of hurt.
Oh, okay. All
And then
right.
Hidden Life comes out, and I'm like, yo, this is awesome. It's about a guy who doesn't want to kill. I'm like, this is new for Malick,
Hmm.
but it it just sucked that this guy did nothing but make beautiful films for close to 40 years,
Hmm.
and then they're like, oh, he sucks now. But I mean, the people are saying he sucks. It's only 3 movies. You don't
Yeah.
have to watch those movies. He didn't lose it. He's just I think I do think it's hard to make Badlands when you're in your 60s and settled.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so we just have to kind of, we just have to sort of reevaluate how we see his movies later on. And so I love A Hidden Life. 2019 was a great comeback. The Way of the Wind sounds like a good time.
Hmm.
And he's working with like Matthias Schoenaerts, like, he's down. Mark Rylance, like, come on
Yeah.
now. So
Yeah.
it's
They want to be challenged. Yeah.
they're gonna go with it. And
Yeah.
I just I feel bad for the actors who gave him everything in Knight of Cups and Song to Song, but it just kind of bums me out that this guy who influenced so many people. I mean, Days of Heaven is one of the most gorgeously shot films ever made. I
Hmm.
mean, the Thin Red Line is gorgeous. I mean, New World, holy mackerel. I know it's getting reappraised now, but it had like negative critic scores. So I don't know. It's kind of interesting how Malick's style was the greatest thing on earth for 40 years. And then he kind
Hmm.
of made a couple duds and everyone's like, he sucks. He lost it. It's like, guys,
Step
guy.
back,
Yeah.
step back,
It,
step back for a second.
why
Yeah.
are you so like, it's like Wes Anderson, like when Fresh French Dispatch came out, they're like, oh, he sucks now. It's like, guys, no, he doesn't suck now. Like and then Asteroid City comes out and it's one of his best in a long time. And everyone's like, oh, he's good again. It's a very interesting, but I also think when you're an auteur,
Hmm.
that's the danger you live with. So I mean,
Yep.
you're Johnny Numb, like yeah, I think, or like people know me for my positivity, like people know like you have your really in depth reviews, and I think I don't think we're auteurs, but I also think that that's a bad example. But what I'm saying is, people like Wes Anderson, people like
Yeah.
Sofia Coppola, people
Sure.
like
Yeah.
when you Spike Lee, when you have that a very auteurish vision, but
Yeah.
then it goes on for maybe a little too long, everyone says you suck.
Yeah. No, that's yeah.
Like, but then Ron Howard, who's had a beautiful career, and I love his thing. He's like, when I worked on TV, there was like 2 good episodes. There's like 2 great ones, a bunch of good ones, and maybe 2 bad ones. And he
Hmm.
goes, if I could just do that with movies, I can make movies for the rest of my life. And that's what he's done.
Right.
And
Right.
it's brilliant.
Yeah.
And he has a great producing partner with Brian Grazer. But I
Sure.
think when you are a auteur, you do always have to be careful of people getting tired of you, which is sad because people could just not watch your movies anymore. But I hope that he comes back. Like he came back with Hidden Life. I hope he comes back again with Way of the Wind so people can be like, okay, he doesn't suck anymore.
Hmm.
It just bummed me out to hear people hating on his films and not even thinking about his films. I don't know if you had that same journey.
Well, Mark, I'm going to turn in my film snob card because I have not seen many Malick films.
Oh,
Badlands, I saw The Thin Red Line in the theater, and that's the only time I've seen it. I watched Tree of Life once, and I've been meaning to watch it again, but I haven't rewatched it. I didn't like
I
it when
just
I
set you up for this, Johnny Numb. My
yeah,
apologies.
yeah, no, 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 that's okay. But I was thinking about what you were saying, just kind of about directors who, like your Scorsese's, your Paul Schrader's, or whoever, who got their start in the 70s and they made splashes. These were like, it was announcing the arrival of Terrence Malick. That was Badlands. Taxi Driver was the one that really launched Martin Scorsese. Blue Collar for Paul Schrader,
Hmm.
and among many other directors through the years. And I think I think there's a weird, especially in the online climate, the very online climate with which we live in, where a lot of a lot of criticism has become purely reactionary. It's a freaking
Yeah.
it's a tweet. It's not like it's a tweet. It's a thread. It's not like something you go out and read in the newspaper or website. It's more fickle. It's harvesting engagement, all these phrases that I absolutely abhor about this era that we're living in. It's all about the clicks. It's all about the likes. Some people are assuming kind of this facade of what they think criticism is, or they have this hater niche kind of. It's like, oh, we're just waiting for this guy to fail. We love this guy, but it's going to be so much fun to drag him or her when they have something that fails at the box office or is a critical failure or something like that. I think the takeaway from this, and something you were alluding to, I think, with your talk about Malick's other films, is you know they can't all be Badlands, but I think you as long as you keep evolving as an artist in some way, it's like there should be something there that people will see. So I think I do have Knight of Cups actually. I haven't watched it, but I think I have it. Um, but I'm like, even with what you said about that, it's like, well, maybe Malick was like, I don't want to do a Badlandsy kind of movie. I just want Christian Bale to get with some great actresses. And maybe for Malick that was something different.
Yeah.
I can't speak. I can't speak to. I'm assuming it was kind of executed in kind of his dreamlike existentialist
Yeah,
way.
a lot of narration and whispering and
Yeah.
yeah. You made a great point. There's a clear evolution from Badlands to Days of Heaven to Thin Red Line to New World to Tree of
Hmm.
Life. New to the Wonder's fine, but I think when you get to Night of Cups and Song to Song, there's no evolution. He
Okay.
tries to go
Right.
more modern. Like,
He
Badlands was a
stalled.
period
Okay.
piece. Days of Heaven was a period piece. Actually, all of
Yeah.
them are period pieces.
Thin Red
For
Line. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
they're all like New World. Tree of Life even goes back
Hmm.
in time. So
Yeah.
I think when he went to do To the Wonder, Night of Cups, and Song to Song, he was
Hmm.
kind of like, I don't want to do period pieces anymore. I'm going to go more modern. But then that didn't quite work. So he went back to a period piece for A Hidden Life.
Hmm.
And now he's telling the story of Jesus with The Way of the Wind, which we have to cover on the feel good thing. So I
Absolutely.
think he's
Yeah.
almost going back to his wheelhouse of period pieces and finding actors that can really bring what he needs.
Hmm.
So I but either way, man, he's a treasure. And I've loved talking to you about this movie and I've loved spending time with it. And
It makes me want to watch the rest of his stuff now. It's like next Criterion sale. I'm gonna pick up Days of Heaven and the Thin Red Line at least, and see New World probably. I think that's a Criterion too. So yeah.
that movie, all-time great theatrical experience for me.
Okay,
Yeah.
excellent. I'll check
And
it out. Yeah.
but Johnny Numb, I'll put together a list of everything we've talked about in the post and everything. But where can people find you before I get you out of here?
You can find my movie reviews and writings on general things that are happening in my life over at johnnynumb.com. And you can also find me on Twitter. I insist on calling it Twitter, even though the URL changed recently. At Jonny Numb, there's no H in that Johnny. Um, and I think that's it. Instagram, the other places, the usual suspects.
Just look for rock piles and you'll find him.
Just follow the mismatched fedora with the rest of my ensemble. Yeah.
And sorry to set you up with the Malick films there. I jumped into a long thing, but it's just
I,
bummed
I
me out.
I immediately felt bad because I was like, I should have done my homework and watched a couple more of his movies in preparation. So I was like, oh, I dropped the ball on that one.
Well, listen, I'm excited to hear your thoughts when you do watch them because
Oh
they're
yeah, me
gorgeous.
too.
And Christian Bale rocking around with all the actresses in the planet.
I mean, just that from the sound of that sounds like a good time to me. But we'll see. We'll see.
Got it. Well, hey, this is great, man. So for me, Mark Hoffmeyer, for Johnny Numb, this is Movies from the Flicks. We'll see you next week.